Federal regulators say employees of a big bank open millions of phony accounts just to meet sales goals.
Noviello here with more on that.
Yeah, this, of course, is a stunning violation of consumer trust. Wells Fargo now facing, we talked about it, more than $100 million in fine. That, as you mentioned, is the largest ever imposed by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's in addition to $85 million in other fines and millions in restitution for victims. Again, we want to put that in perspective, though. You just heard Tim mention when you look at profits for this big bank, that barely makes a dent. So here's how they did it, folks. Thousands of Wells Fargo employees found ways to game the system by taking the personal information of existing banking customers and using it to secretly sign them up for new services that they had never requested. When bank employees needed additional information, they made up phony ID numbers, phony email addresses. Then they transferred funds from customers' authorized accounts to temporarily fund millions of fake accounts, fueling the fraud. Employees received credit, they met sales goals, and even earned additional compensation and bonuses for opening those new accounts.
So also credit cards as well, which can affect your credit rate. I mean, and a lot of people do, I'm sure you do, have an alert when somebody opens an account, bing, hey, something's going on with your finances.
Yeah, certainly, and actually that's one of the measures that Wells Fargo will take moving forward, but you're exactly right. Not only are we talking about deposit accounts, but credit card accounts as well. In fact, the bank's own internal review found that Wells Fargo employees applied for roughly 565,000 credit card accounts that may have not been authorized, some of them triggering annual fees, finance charges, and interest charges as well.
All right, the bank also reporting that they've fired, what, like 5,000 employees, but this has been like over a period of time. It's not just like as a result of what we're hearing
Yeah,
today.
we've been hearing that a lot on the news today, you know, massive firing at Wells Fargo. We do want to put that in perspective for people. Those employees, including managers, by the way, have been fired over the course of the last 5 years. So this is not a mass firing in response to the news. In fact, the fines and terms are part of a litigation settlement. As for customers, the company says there is no required action to take. They have already refunded $2.6 million to customer accounts. They say the average refund was about $25. In addition, a company spokesperson says it will improve training, reevaluate sales incentives, and now, like Tim mentioned, send customers a confirmation within 1 hour of any account being opened in their name. The full statement from Wells Fargo is right now on my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/SaveMeSteve.
$25 sounds like nothing to them.
Well, you know, and they say also that the amount of accounts that actually required restitution was like 1% of all accounts reviewed. But again, this is a huge bank. You know, when you look at certain statistics, it's actually the largest bank that's out there. So certainly Wells Fargo on their end trying to minimize how many people this affects. But even 1%, when you're dealing with a company of this size, that's a lot of people.
It's a little shocking that it went on as long as it did, and that there was not some spot check or audit trail to go back and say, you know, you're the person at the bank, and you say, oh, I opened 10 new accounts this week, and at least do a spot check and say, gee, Steve,
that seems high.
I can't find any paper trail. At this signature of this customer doesn't match.
Right, and there's not much money in there.
No quality control.
And here's the deal as well, you know, when you look at things, everything's so electronic these days. I mean, you certainly can do things not necessarily in person. The important lesson here for consumers, of course, is you absolutely must check your credit. These kinds of accounts will show up on a credit report. And if you're not getting that free credit report from annualcreditreport.com, you're never going to know about it. So really, at the end of the day, that's what happened here. Suddenly people said, whoa, I don't remember doing this. And now, you know, as we see, it was a huge, huge problem and of course, a huge violation.
It'll be interesting to see if Wells Fargo customers stick with Wells Fargo now.
Yeah.
You know, there could be fallout from that.
There could be tough times ahead.
We'll see. All right.